Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today, we are going to be talking about terrorist sleeper cells, Iran, Israel, President Biden. I want to show you so much today, the information that God put before me, and just like in America, you do United States of America. In God we trust. In God we trust. And I trust God with everything. So, just like I said, let's get started with Karine Jean Pierre. It's a different world. It's a different world. Sorry. It's a different world. And she got caught saying it's a different world. And that was a scary scenario because it was like, I'm like, here's this lesbian woman saying, singing "It's a Different World" after um, agitation between Israel and Iran. So let's get started. Here's the video of Karine Jean Pierre's on TikTok singing this. Well, I don't know if I would get in trouble for this. Now, here's another video of a lady talking about her. I don't know if this was during the time that Karine Jean Pierre put made the video that it's a different world. I noticed that this is during before Trump's presidency while he was rallying, but she sat up there and she got caught. I'm like, is this in the White House, files? So I went and I took a look. I said, what was happening during January, February, March, April 15th, 24? And this is what happened. Now, I'm no intelligence personnel, but I know I can read between a lie. And I finally caught, well, been caught, um, Biden's error in a lie. I want to show y'all. Now, it will not say, you will not hear it, but you can see it on the caption. 2%. Trump got them to pay 5%. So he basically was saying at the 11-minute mark, um, talking about he had intel from Iran that they were going to hit Israel, but he didn't have a time nor place. So he did not find it in his best interest to talk to Israel. Why didn't you, if you knew and had the intel that there would be a war from Iran or a strike from Iran, why didn't you help Israel fight or help with supplying them stuff or giving them some type, being diplomatic? You had diplomatic relations with both Iran and Israel. Something wasn't right. I want you to look at that. Um, and I want you to know that they only let one white woman speak, and it was going back and forth between these two ladies right here. Even look who's beside them. I forgot his name, but a bird flew on top of his head at the White House. I believe that's him beside the other woman with the flowered shirt. And he didn't even say nothing. But read the captions and then I'll reiterate and go over it one more time. Like it was Israel's decision to make, but what, you know, it just sounds so cold. Somebody get hurt and they'd be like, that's their decision to make whether um they're going to jump in it or protect them. He had nothing on the calendar to speak to Netanyahu again after or before. He did not tell them the intel or give them any intel on, but yet told them it was coming, but didn't give any intel on what time or date it was coming. You're gonna have a birthday. I don't know the date. I don't know the time, but you're gonna have a birthday. You're like, well, when, what, what? Look at him. He's the brightest pupil in the room when uh what is her name? The press secretary. Um I forgot her name, but he is the one in the room asking most of the questions, or I take that back. They diversify it and they sit up there and they ask everybody a question. They don't go back between just two people, leaving everybody. Look at those faces. Those faces look like, I'm just in the room. I'm just in the room. So can y'all tell me this, all my friends out there? Um, Are you only allowed to, is it a clause that says you are allowed to defend your friend one time, one time, and that's it? You know, you're on your own after that. You know, that's the worst thing you can ever tell a person is you on your own. Hmm. How how did how did you hold Iran accountable? There are over 150, if not more, journalists in that room. How is it that this is going back and forth between only two people? Everybody else is looking at their tablets and looking at their papers. She's looking dead at him. I know you have to be a journalist with a badge to go into there. I could be wrong. Let's just see how this plays out because I only watched to this degree. I think he's about to say it now. He said he never had intel that they can speak on to tell their Israel counterparts about. That is a bold-faced lie. It says it because I looked it up. Yes, the U.S. warned Iran against attacking Israel, also warned Israel against striking Iran in retaliation. So basically, they warned Iran against striking on Israel. They warned Iran against striking on Israel, which means that they had some form of intel that Iran would strike Israel. It says it right here. The Biden administration warned Iran against launching another attack on Israel. That's another attack on, and it will not be able to restrain Israel actions. If I was Israel, I would do anything to protect my country, to protect my country. So warning Israel against striking Iran in retaliation is was kind of like, why are you suppressing Israel? Like, why would you not sanction or do something or drain the accounts or try to break Iran for doing that against a country like Israel? There was intel. The time and the targets. Iran never gave a message giving the time or the targets. I am just waiting on my TikTok page to turn on. The time or the targets. Why would you need that sort of intel when this is a United States that went to and we caught Osama bin Laden? Why would we need time or why would we need targets? Trump went in and he blew up the nuclear laboratories underground. You know, he didn't say, well, where's the time? What time is it? Or where's the targets? She said, do you believe? I want you to read what she said again. This is very vital. Iranian nuclear sites is a legitimate target. She was pushing and hitting his nerve. It was like he was angry about not getting his Pizza Hut food delivered on time. Like seriously, he was getting angry. He was redirecting. He was doing everything in his power to stay out of answering the true question. Now, mind you, during this time, during this time, during this time, he was being diplomatic. Biden was being diplomatic with Iran, Iraq, Israel, um, and many other places that um, I, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at this. 'Cause this 20 hours ago, 23 hours ago. You know what? Excuse me. I want y'all to watch this. It actually made me what is this? Cry. I may sound crazy when I say this, but I have something that I want to show y'all to reiterate. Hold on. Now, God is both transcendent. Hold on. Okay, I don't remember what question I asked to get the, um, so spiritual realm, center state. Oh my God, should I have to go backwards and actually go through my notes? I done put so much down, so much of my work I done put out there. A spiritual state. It says, heaven isn't a physical space, but a spiritual state, a dimension of reality perfectly suited for God's being. So if you were to break that down and say a spiritual state, all of us, or we try to be, um, it's a spiritual state, a dimension of reality perfectly suited for God's well-being. So the spiritual state of well-being. Something in me feels like even though we're physically here in our physical bodies and our spirits is here, our spirits does other things. And like we could be fighting a battle for all we know somewhere in within the heavens in our spiritual body, but be sitting right here in our physical form. And I'm going to look that up and fact check it. Could we be here in physical form, but spiritual form somewhere else. The spiritual world exists alongside or underlies physical world. The spiritual world home is like God's angel spirits, and it is here that the person's spirit itself is said to have to exist or have influence. While the body must remain in one location, the spirit is considered infinite and not limited by physical constraints. Out of body experiences, astral projective, non local consciousness. How I know that the spirit carries on other places as a person is speaking in conscious mind. It's the thoughts that we get, both negative and physical. We pick up physical frequencies, negative thoughts and positive thoughts. You know, where do these thoughts come from? They're coming from somewhere deep within our unconscious mind. They're coming from somewhere. And as we're talking, you know, we have our conscious mind just feeding us, you know, from our unconscious, subconscious, to conscious mind feeding us. Yet our unconscious is deep within our soul, and I believe our souls are our past life. Like I said before, we all have traveled over the years, and some of us, like our souls, have traveled over millenniums, and some of us pick uh, whatever souls we come across. You know, our spirits attached to those souls, and whether good or bad, sort of like music, how music can define, you know. What is his name? You don't know how powerful music is. Let's just say Beethoven. Let me see something. Hold on. No. The person who created music that was deaf. Ludwig van Beethoven. I had to make sure. So he lost his hearing in the late 20s, but he knew tones and became deaf, completely deaf in his late 40s. Despite his condition, he continued to compose some of the most famous works. His techniques are it aid his competition, including feeling vibrations. He mastered emotional depth and complexity. His story is inspiring, or an inspiring example of overcoming adversity in the pursuit of art. So he sat up there, and he was a composer who remembered, and we must study him, because just like I said, we need something out here, some form of technology to, and I'll get back to religion in a second, but to extract memories, well, negative thoughts, um, we need to study him because he remembers tones. He mastered tones at such an early age that when he became completely deaf in his 40s, he was able to code the music. He coded the music based on what he knew. And a beat is like a tone. You may, his music, how long did the Ninth Symphony music last for? Oh my God, an hour? Hold up, hold up. 65 minutes. I want to make sure I'm right on this. No, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. His music lasts, um, he has much music that people probably remade that last 65 minutes, but it's cold. Music is codes, notes. They call it notes, and it's codes. Once you hear a song, it's totally different. And they sat there for 3 minutes and 5 seconds listening to that in a trance, listening to how emotion carries you and how the brain activity goes and lust for the music. It's like it's like the music, it's already there. It's like it's already there, but it needed to come out. And that's what you get when you hear it. Like it's a code that's already in your file but needs to get out. And you loathe it. Should I say loathe and not lust, before some people be like, okay, what is she talking about? Um, but they sit there and they watch, the symphony, it's a beautiful thing. So, um, but over the course of years, I'll just can someone get a spirit over the millenniums of being, could some host attach its spirit to yours? It's called possession, whether good or bad. According to various spirit resources, or sources. Spirits may attach to a person for a number of reasons. Vulnerability. A person's energetic field may become exposed due to emotional weakness, depression, anxiety, or addiction, making them susceptible to spirit attachment. Shared experience. A lost or earthbound spirit may be drawn to a person who shares the same destructive habits, such as drug or alcohol abuse. Strong emotional connection. So basically, earthbound spirit may be drawn to a person who shares the same destructive habits, which would be human beings. That's shared experience. Shared emotional um, connection is a deceased or spirit may attach to a living person they were close to in life, such as a family member, either to watch over them or because they're reluctant to move on. That could be me because my mother passed away when I was 15 and I walked in 5 minutes supposedly after she passed away. Invitation. A spirit can gain access by being invited through practices like using Ouija boards or performing seances. Mischievous intent. Some entities may attach themselves simply out of mischief or because they enjoy causing fear. That mischievous intent, we had an entity. It's the perfect example for an entity that sit up there and attach themselves out of mischief or they because they love causing fear. I know exactly who did that, but I'm not even going to talk about it because we can get too deep with it. Effects of a spirit attachment, sudden mood swings. Unexplained feelings of rage, sadness, and anxiety may indicate external influence of your emotional state. Energy drain. The living person may experience constant fatigue or feel as though their energy is being siphoned off. Now, that's just like us women. You want to know how that feel? That feels exactly like when you're pregnant, how your energy feels drained all the time because that seed inside you is sucking the life out of your spirit, making a new spirit. It takes a lot to make a new spirit. Some belief systems link unexplained aches and pains, particularly in the head, neck, back, to a spiritual parasite. Intrusive thoughts. A person may experience negative, obsessive, or harmful thoughts that make that feel like they're not their own. Like I said, I proved my point. Negative thoughts or positive thoughts, they don't say about that, but or positive thoughts. You've had spirits attached to you over the course of the however long your spirit has been alive. Just imagine what where I feel like it's like a Lieutenant Dan movie, how his ancestors all died in the military and he wanted to die and he lost his legs and he swam. you know um it's like they you know it repeats itself. Hollywood don't have that technology for nothing. They religious. Many Christians believe to describe spiritual attachment in the context of demonic forces, which can enter a person's life through open doors like sin or occult practices like witchcraft or whatever. Psychological view. Mainstream psychology or medicine also attribute symptoms of spiritual attachment, such as hearing voices or changes in behavior, to mental health issues like psychosis, schizophrenia, or depression. They labeled it. They labeled it. Like I said a couple of days ago, we need to study why everybody in psychosis, schizophrenia, or depression. No, psychosis or I studied it. I freaking studied it. And people that are in psychosis or schizophrenia, they claim to, they all have a certain spectrum that they go upon. They all bipolar, schizophrenia, psychosis, they all have, they all say have grandiose ideations, you know, they all have connections. Some of them have connections to the FBI or talk about the FBI. They all have connections to, and they all say different to similar things. Some say, they're Jesus Christ, whatever the case may be. Um, they all, you all can't say the same thing. Some truth must be in that. You all can't say the same thing. Not all of us are black. Not all of us are white. Not all of us are Hispanic. Everybody's saying the same thing. I think that's why some people said Jesus Christ was schizophrenic, and some people said that he was just religious. I think that the frequency of people who say that are closer to God than normal persons, people. When people start, they really start looking at people when they start talking about God. They call that grandiose ideation. Why can't we have grandiose ideations about God? Why can't God be put on a pedestal for once in his natural, never ending life? Why is it when people say, oh, Jesus is coming back, or oh, God is returning, or whatever they say, they get watched more? One lady, one lady sat up there and she was praying she was overseas and she was praying. I don't want to say where, I don't remember where, and I'm kind of glad I don't. But she was praying to this abortion clinic, and all of a sudden they arrested her and they demanded she tell them what she was thinking. I said, what kind of question is that? Why would you know what a person is thinking? I forgot where it was, but they demanded her tell them where, what she was thinking. Let me actually see if I can find it. A woman in another country was asked what she was thinking as she prayed at a as she prayed at an abortion clinic. And this was, I don't want to talk about it, but it was December 6th, 2022 in English. You can't pray in England. You cannot pray silently inside a buffer zone. You can't think and pray. You cannot think. Poor thing. Let's look at her, y'all. I want to let you all know something. I'm still the same Kimberly, but the more I do my due diligence and talk about God, the more I feel like I am able to gain knowledge from God in a sense that whatever he wants me, whatever he navigates me to talk about, I'll talk about. Whatever is navigated to talk about. I didn't even really want to bring up China because I done brought it up so many times, and I done proved my point that almost everything, even the Houthis, links back to either, I don't want to, most of the stuff I looked up links back to China. It don't take a rocket scientist. If you look at all the stuff that's been happening, I can connect it to China from everything. They done had a huge tight knit grip, and it's like we've been in a trance for over 40 years. Everything is made from China. The Panama Canal had China influence, farmland in China. Everything leads back to China. And I know Chinese people, and it's not like I'm trying to bash them. It's not like I'm trying to bash them. But the way Z influenced them over the course of he was in office in 2012, 2011. He has influenced them to look at us, especially Black people, as primitive. And they are strategic. I wanted to show you something else. This right here, you see what I got? This right here. I can kind of read it. I can I can look it up and see how the Chinese defined it, the symbols on there, but I see a stick that looked like a man opening up one door, then two doors, then I see some sort of eye type looking area, with, okay, with like a computer. It's coded. It's like a some sort of graphic on some sort type of squaring in the middle of a box, two brackets that are horizontal and not vertical. Walking into something that is secret that only a selected few eyes would get to know about. Sometimes they give their stuff away, but I don't know if this is true. So let me look it up. So the first part means machine, which is like computer, secrecy. It means many different things. I already know that's a setup. Oh, written Chinese dictionary. I really want to know this. I have to go on there. I didn't say computer. I did say, I said some sort of thing that looked like an eye from a distance, but up close it looks like the Chinese, the Beijing symbol, the symbol of China a little bit. It kind of resembled their secrecy. Um, the first time, on October the 1st, proxy members of the Axis of Resistance. Do that sound about right to you? That's the Houthis. That's many different resistance movements, um, all together fighting uh, Israel. Do y'all know what sleeper cells are? Do y'all know what sleeper cells are? That's a scary thing. Do it sound? Imagine all those people that was out on the White House lawn, down the street from the White House, just observing the White House and stuff. Those were sleeper cells. They are individuals who are inactive until activated for a specific purpose. There was none of these, there were very minimum rioting going on. And all of a sudden, as soon as Trump get into office, there was rioting. Just like with the Black Lives Matter, they almost burnt part of the White House down. And there are movements that there are movements like Black Panthers or the well, I don't know if Black Panthers was a sleeper movement or a sleeper cell, but these new movements, when did sleeper cell come out? Because these new movements, they all they they basically they're inactive until activated, and you find them on line online. Where would you find them? I'll tell you where you can find them. They blend into local communities, making detection challenging. Recruitment may be through online platforms or no local networks. Now, does that sound familiar? Weren't they recruiting people through for Tesla? Intelligence agencies monitor suspicious activities and communications, but they can't catch everything. Community awareness and reporting can also be helpful at identifying potential threats. Collaboration between law enforcement and communities is crucial for prevention. If somebody sat up there and said, I want to do this such and such to such and such, they'll catch that. But talking in code, like I have to do in order to not get censored, is what they do. And Trump had warned, where is it at? Trump had warned about sleeper cells being activated throughout. He got some intel about sleeper cells being activated throughout the United States of America. Now, he couldn't really talk about it. I'm surprised. I never heard him talk about sleeper cells. But he said there's some bad people wanting to do some bad damage to the United States. He didn't say sleeper cells. Why, I don't like that about the government. But they're coming out their shell. It's not Trump fault. Is that they don't want to put people on a frenzy, but I hate when they tell him, if you say this, this will happen. They're coming out of their shell with telling us more than Biden has ever telling us about what has been going on in the White House community with the wars, with everything. Back to the story about the kids. You heard you read that, right? The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction. Those are powerful, powerful words. I didn't see this part, but just like I said, AI is just like a baby in its infancy stages. Imagine how technology will be booming in the next 50 to 100 years with surveillance like never before, top of the line surveillance. I mean, how much surveillance can y'all get in SA? They like, you don't even know, I don't know what. Hold on, y'all. Hello? It's Kimberly. Yes. Hi, Kimberly, this is Mr. Tanker. Please, how are you? Can you hold on for a second? I have to get off of here. Okay. So I am about to go, you guys, and I will see you guys. Matter of fact, I'm gonna press the mute button. Hold on, you guys. Um, Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So the first lady. Okay. Do you know how big this is? AI and educational and workforce, bringing AI, more AI to the workforce, bringing more AI to educational. Do you know how smart? I want to curse, but I don't, to emphasize what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to curse because it's child related. So AI educational program, do you know how crazy this is going to be? You know what's even, I can die knowing that my grandchild, which is going to be a boy, can witness AI's future for the future. By the time they reach, uh, how old? 5, they should be having them within all school limits. In Illinois, oh man, you get the wrong Democrat in off governor in office, and look at what's happening in Chicago. Black on black crime. Nothing, there is nothing wrong with Chicago, Mr. Prisker said. It's just what's wrong with Chicago are the guns that the Republicans have. Black people, that is such an insult. That is such an insult. I've been hearing about Chicago way before this ramp up about Republicans. Democrats were dominating the states. What was the excuse then? Do you not know how prominent taking certifications, courses, workshops, webinar that builds strength, resilience, innovation, and so much more in your child? You give them a chance to be independent and then encourage them using technology. AI is bringing everybody together. You know, you only got those selected few that's talking junk about robots and computers, but AI is bringing everybody together. AI is bringing everybody together. You know, if you're on board with it, you're getting closer to AI. She got some flawless makeup on. Imagine that in their own workforce. I'm sorry. I just get so excited. Should it be a national security threat to sit up there and include not include places like that? I you look at what has happened so far with taxes and everything else. All I'm saying is certain states, if they have too much AI, you know, what will happen if they use it for bad? Sort of like what, you know, China has done with their AI. Or should I say not only China, but Russia, India, Indonesia. If we don't intercept AI into um, our schools, we're gonna fall behind and not be dominant at AI. We're not gonna be dominant, and everybody, whatever the race, deserves to get a form of AI technology. You know, but imagine the technology that California has now. Imagine the Hollywood technology that California have mixed in with the AI technology that he's about to put in schools, mixed in with more AI that maybe certain that we don't even know about that private sectors are doing with AI right now as we speak, top secret, um, because everybody, you know, federal has a camera on all states, but each state has its own airspace. So, I I I I'm very scared about that. Look at what they're doing now. Look at what they're doing now. Like Hollywood paid tremendous taxes to even be able to work there, which they, whoever picked that place, it's like it was chosen by some few people to be Hollywood. I don't know. I'm going too far. I gone too far. If we, I like the fact that lately I've been working. She said, make, not, what did she say? She said, make it more efficient and productive and not take our judgment away. My judgment is that she said it in the correct terms, to not take your judgment. I have a judgment about something, I make a theory, and then I fact check it using AI. Do you not know? I'm sorry for stopping it. I know the White House is like, what is she doing? But listen, curiosity and what, critical thinking, creativity. Those are the imaginative parts of the brain. And that is what I, that is me. That is me. I'm a creator and I'm very curious. So, AI can be used towards everything. I create things, you know. So yeah. You know what's going to make me mad is if these parents don't get off, some of these parents don't get off their lazy behinds, with whatever they're doing. I don't care if it's drugs or whatever, and show their child the way, because nobody wants to invest more into a child than Trump. And if they don't have creativity or curiosity, that they're they're straying away from the problem, and they're inhibited from wanting to do that. They're drifters. When they don't do stuff, they're drifters. And we don't need drifters in the United States. We need children that have good supporting parents. You can make this happen to the parents out there and support your child. Support your child. Get them closer to AI, because you, my friends, will lose in this battle that we're moving forward. We're in A group. We're in A group. Don't be in Z group trying to, walk your way at a pace that A group is going, because you will get left behind. She went out for a second, and that was a man that sat up there and made good deals, not bad deals. Everybody is investing 600 million or 600 billion dollars into technology, or into Trump or the White House, for technology to surge with AI. Like, they're investing. Everyone's investing. And if we he made good deals for the sake of the future, and that's the only thing that they have in common, almost, is that the sake of the world, of humanity, falls upon whose hand is in AI the most, who is leading AI the most. Because if you put it in the wrong hands, like Russia or our adversaries, then what will happen is they would use it, and we would probably be in another world war. Sensor system, K through 12, sensor systems, they can uh, be a part of, like learning about sensor systems that monitor soil moisture and detect something. Let's see what she says. Hold on, y'all. He spent $100 million to research the use of AI in agriculture. Do you not know what we can do if we research the use of agriculture with AI? Do you know that they brought that mold over here so that it will wipe out our agriculture and kill people? That's second to none. I learned that in the Army, second to none. I think that was my unit. I know a lot of people laughing right now. Yeah, it was my unit. I wore the badge every day. I want y'all to see that. Y'all should look at Gaia, which means earth. Takes electricity and turns it into intelligence. AI. Wow. Yeah, harnessing. That is zero. We're in the category one world then. Let me make sure I know what harness mean. I could be wrong. Solar energy. Capturing available energy and converting it into electrical power. AI, you let me down a little bit. But you made it known. Solar energy, you basically capture available energy and convert it into electrical power. Now, you know, when he's serious like that, that things are going to get done. Things are really going to get done. We want to make sure that AI pursues truth, fairness, and impartiality. Theology. Yeah, that 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 is why we're number one, because like I said, it could be a conspiracy theory or whatever the case may be. But what I will say is that the Ten Commandments, the movie, on 1956, at the end, Moses go up to the hill, and there's this burning yet electrical tornado with fire and electric. And that was depicted in 1956 as God. Today, if we were to do something and contain that type of material into a machine of abundance and intelligence, artificial intelligence, you know, I want to show y'all something. I'm not going to stop until I find it. Doobie doobie doo, doo 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 doo, doobie doobie doo, doo 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 doo, doobie doobie doo. Okay. They also believe in heaven based on biblical accounts of Jesus ascending to heaven, and teaching that God's people would one day see him face to face in a state beyond earthly comprehension. We can't comprehend what artificial intelligence can do. We can't comprehend what the quantum computers can really do in a state. United States, this is biblical stuff being broken down in a state beyond earthly comprehension. Does that mean the United States beyond earthly comprehension? It could mean anything, but I look at it as the United States like a what is it? Machine, a machine, earthly. What is beyond earthly comprehension? AI, machines, and we still haven't and cannot comprehend all of AI unless somebody can connect the AI and literally say, let me comprehend and get to know, even though I was the creator of you, let me comprehend and get to know everything about you so I would be able to understand you a little bit more. And I don't think nobody have said that yet. The Bible is coded, just to let you know. The Bible is like coded. The Bible is coded. Sona Pichai, I want to thank you for giving me a platform to talk, to not even talk on video chat, um, and especially type in my words, my sentences, my phrases into the SEO platform and get abundant, honest, non-coerced answers. You know, I used to call IBM the Men in Black technology. They just scrambled it around. You know, would have been really ticked off the party is if you said Googleplex, is if you said multiplied Googleplex fold. And, you know, because Google is like right there. Google is like right there across from them. So if he would have said Googleplex, that would have been, you know, no pun intended. Only 12 states provide children with AI education. Imagine that. Sparked their curiosity, which came back up again and build their confidence. You know, it's a shame how we're selfish with complimenting people or encouragement of people. It's a shame. If we can be like this to other agile adults, we can be like this to children, and that will not spark their curiosity to learn or their confidence. Steve Jobs said the reason why he loved learning about computer science is that it taught him to think differently about problems. And that doesn't change in the age of AI. And that is so true. Steve Jobs, I interviewed somebody that actually was a COO or a part of the team um, of I don't know what it's called, but it's a team, a CEO, COO, and it goes down a list. And I interviewed him. He said Steve Jobs wasn't a nice man, but he cared about people, you know. I know he cared about people. I think he passed away, it passed on. Basically, he had pancreatic cancer and he died at the age of 56. 11/0/11. Hold on for a second.
Hi. Hey, Austin Tanker from Place. Good. Nice to meet you. Just so that you know, my body cam is on. That's okay. So I got some good news. There is security footage of your package. Okay. Just a couple of things. I know you're probably busy, but I do get the documentation that I received from Amazon. 30 not okay. Do they, when Amazon delivers a package, they send you a photo? Yeah. That's what I was going to send you the item that was in the actual bag. Okay, great. I need that and the receipt. You know how you make the order on Amazon, you get the receipt. It's being delivered. I need those two things. So I'm saying receipt, picture, that the utility tip that it's delivered. And then I should be good as far as documentation goes. Okay. Okay. So like I said, good news, security footage, know how good idea who the suspect is. And, that's all good. And the thing is, like, I know what my perception is in the video, but it victimizes a lot of people, right? So this person, so I appreciate you. Okay. Alrighty? I'll send that next 30 minutes. Okay, I appreciate it. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, if I need anything else, I'll just give you a call, but I was just downstairs with the manager, figuring out how to go there and just keep it on reminder in person. Okay, thanks, Kimberly. Take care, man.
That was the popos. uh, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs' date of death was October 5th, 2011, 11/01/11. And I remember him saying, he said that he can see heaven before he actually passed on. They said that he can see heaven before he can actually pass on, and it looked beautiful to him and stuff. His last days. And he said everybody is going to get to see it. So we're almost finished. We got less than 6 minutes and some seconds. evolving AI for all 50 states with computer science. You know, think of where we're going to be. You got physics, you got biology, you got all types of technology and biology, but think of where we're going to be with computer science. Young ones learning computer science of all races, learning computer science. And the great thing about us is that we're diverse. So imagine all those young whippersnappers growing up learning about computer science. Imagine 400,000. That's like uh we're at almost 400 million people, probably 325 million people here in the United States. 400,000, you know, is a start. Definitely a huge start from where we were at prior with only 12 to 13 states getting AI. Oh my God, over the next decade, 100. So to start off is 400,000, and over the next decade, 100 million. That, oh my God, I cannot wait for that to be reached. This is what got me so emotional, the ending. So all of everything was to the T perfect, but you know, that's gonna reach, could reach, and will reach my great grandchildren and my bloodline to continue on. Mark Zuckerberg, how you end up as a photographer walking across the table of all the chairmen and stuff? That looked just like Mark Zuckerberg. Hold on, let me show y'all. I have 30 minutes. Hold on. Centralized, meaning one place, just like your centralized central nervous system or the centralized intelligence agency. They probably need to change that. If it wasn't for the first lady, organizing this and getting Google and the rest of Codex and another prestigious name named, none of this, and all the ladies that were beside her, all the men that spoke, I wouldn't even have saw this or seen this. As long as my great great and my grandchildren, my great great grandchildren, and my great 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 grandchildren, you know, get to use AI, there is no becoming dumbed down. There is no getting dumbed down from using AI. It's like uh I can only compare it what they say and creative and the other word. What is the other word she said? Creative and critical thinking, maybe. I don't know, but what I do know is that it's creativity and creativity and something else. But what I can tell you is that this new technology, I'll be a conspiracy theorist, is a gateway. You hear gateway for drugs and gateway for this and gateway for that. This is a gateway to being close to God. just like I explained to you prior, in a state of unearthly, well, earthly, not non-earthly comprehension. And yeah, so I am about to get off of here. I appreciate it watching this. I will be back on here a little later. I hope that you guys take care, be safe, and that is basically it. I have to go. Bye.
Never waste my time, you are